Vercingetorix. I had never heard the word out loud. I'd never seen it except in the book. And for whatever reason, it was Vercingetorix. I swear to God. I mean, from like 6 to, then I get into Latin. I'm in sophomore year, I'm in Latin. And we're reading Caesar's War commentaries in Latin. And here's a nun I actually liked. Man, she wasn't old bitty. It was like, well, of course, if you're 40 something and I'm 17, 16, you're an old bitty. But she was not a shriveled up. She was old, I'd say, that would have hit you on the knuckles. But she never did. But she knew her fucking Latin. You have to know church Latin from regular Latin. And I took Latin at Princeton. But I can't believe, because I'd read those stories many times. I'd gone through this stuff. Now we sit there, my sophomore year in high school, and by chance she calls on me to read my translation of this passage. And I do this, blah, 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 you know, Caesar's commentary, the armies removed, and Vercingetorix. He goes, what? There's not an emphasis on Tor. Okay. What is it? He said, no, I'm going to show you. She was syntax, stuff. First she said, okay, she started out straightforward. Stop doing that. It is in Vercingetorix. So what would it be if it wasn't there? Vercingetorix. You're right. So now say it together. Vercingetorix. She's making me stand. I'm doing this. I can still remember this. And I wasn't at all upset. I had read this wrong for so long. You know, so she finally does the blackboard. Versin. Big thing. Big under the jet oryx. Pronounce that slowly. Vercingetorix. Okay, now put it all together. Vercingetorix. Find you. Estupendo. You want stupido. And I mean, I was actually trying. I was like, you know, it's so ingrained and so wrong. I couldn't unwrap it. I could, again, I'm standing up. But she already knows I'm gonna, you know, this wasn't like the first day or anything. She just couldn't, actually, my first lesson in the fact that a predetermined thing, I didn't know any better when I read those books. Nobody had ever said the word. You know how many, when you read early, things that are unfamiliar, you just pronounce them the way you think they ought to be. My famous first one was Achilles. Achilles, the Greek god. It's Achilles. but you're 6. But Vercingetorix, I could not get it. She did it 10 times. I mean, I'm giving her, she took 20 minutes to try and put it on the board, maybe do it like 10 times. And she knew I was trying, but I couldn't crack my old mental bias. She wouldn't let anybody say it. See, I never heard it right. I kept going, Vercingetorix. She goes, it's jet. Focus on jet. Stop the O-rix. Vercingetorix. She didn't quite say that. I got it. Vercingetorix. No, it's not on the Tor. It's she even put 2 chalk marks on the Tor. Jet. And she knew I knew language. I mean, she knew. But I was so ingrained from like age 3, the fuck knows when I first started, and I had never heard it. Gotta remember, until this point, I had never heard Vercingetorix, so, which would have made it easy. And finally she had stupidus ass. I frustrated her, and somebody had to pronounce it. She couldn't break through my wall of predetermined sounding. I was honestly, and that's what was going on. I was not giving her trouble. I was up there, and I'm willing to do it. I don't care if the whole fucking class. And she knew that too. First of all, I was one of the best Latin speakers in the class. I didn't care. And that she was trying to make me get it right on my own. And I was incapable of getting it right on my own, but not through stupidity or ineptitude, but through an ingrained bias that I'd had as a kid, of course, but it doesn't matter. And she did stupidus ass. I'll still remember what she said. And I just stand and smile. You're stupid. You're stupid. She was smart. She was the Latin teacher, so she knew what she was doing. My little sister's the same era. And she was skinny. I do remember that. But I do remember the stupidus. And I remember her. And I never saw her do that to anybody, trying to get me to pronounce it correctly and doing the right thing, putting it on the blackboard, and which, here's the irony, had I never seen that word before in my life, I would have been able to pronounce it correctly. I read Caesar's War commentaries as a boy in English. But having read Caesar's War commentaries and having it ingrained in my mind incorrectly, but Vercingetorix was still Vercingetorix. I had created that he was Vercingetorix. You know, it's just like when you're reading the Greek books, a child's. I didn't know what it meant. Okay. So, you know how when you read, you skim over, you're so used to the name, you're not pronouncing it. Except it's, wow, I never even thought about that. You're not actually, you see a name in a book, all words in books, but let's say you're seeing a proper name, Achilles, I'll use that. Well, or Vercingetorix, it's precisely the same. But you're way ahead. Nobody's ever told you that. Like you're reading the book. You've never encountered the name before or the word before. So your mind interprets it according to whatever guidelines you have established to that date. That's my struggles early with the word the. Because I had already learned some basics, and to me that should be to he.
You know that there's an extinct letter that used to represent the TH sound?
The diphthong.
No, I don't think it's that.
What is it? The
I'll tell you.
diphthong. The
No,
diphthong.
it's there used to be a letter in the English language that stood for th.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hold on, I'll tell you it in a second. Did you know that it was called, in Old English, a letter called thorn represented the TH sound as in that in modern English?
Oh.
In the Latin alphabet, the Y was the symbol that most closely resembled the character that represented thorn, so thorn was dropped and Y took its place.
Thorn.
That is why the word ye, as in ye old bookshop, is an archaic spelling of the.
Oh, yes. That fits. That was one of the first revelations. That to me, but I would tell you, that to me was my first breakthrough of like, oh fuck, I'm really stupid. I mean, that was one of my first struggle words with my mother with flashcards, and I was, I don't know, I was probably 1, and I had already was able to say all kinds of words, and I would go to the. I remember that's one of those youthful moments that you remember, because it's when I got it, that the sound was a blend. I already knew the alphabet. I was 1. I knew the H sound, the T sound, the A, D, C, D, E, F, G.